council meeting to order this evening, and tonight will be led in our invocation by Pastor Kevin Schneider of Good News Reformed Church in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, please rise.
And let us pray, my friends. Father, we want to simply give you thanks and we want to give you praise that we can gather here together tonight, Father, to do the work of this city. Father, I want to give you thanks and I want to give you praise for the men and the women who you have called to these positions, Father, to be leaders and to be men and women who are willing to make tough decisions. Father, you have so blessed our city. I thank you and I praise you for the men and women who give of their time and their talents to lead and to protect and to serve. Father, I simply want to pray over this meeting tonight. I pray over this agenda, Father, and I know that there are many decisions that must be made. So give these leaders insight and wisdom. And Father, give them the ability to come together. Maybe not always to agree, but Father, to come together and to do what is best for this city. But Lord, again, thank you for the way that you have blessed us, for the way that you have watched out and provided and protected. And God, thank you too for the rain, for the way that it will simply allow our city to be green again. We love you and we worship you tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we're going to have National Health Center Week, and so Joe Franken, would you come on up, and with the rest of the health department, come on up here. The proclamation reads, whereas Falls Community Health is a federally qualified health center operated by the Sioux Falls Health Department and serves over 8,900 uninsured and medically underserved people in Sioux Falls. Whereas Falls Community Health expands access to quality health care for citizens of Sioux Falls and contains health care costs by fostering prevention and integrating the delivery of primary care with aggressive outreach, patient education, translation, and other enabling services. Whereas Falls Community Health has made great strides in improving the delivery of the care by demonstrating cost effectiveness and efficiency in the delivery of care, as well as reducing health disparities, preventable death, costly disabilities, and communicable disease. Whereas Falls Community Health promotes 100% access and zero health disparities to help achieve health care for all people of Sioux Falls. Now, therefore, I, Dave Munson, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim the week of August 6th through the 12th, 2006, as National Health Center Week in Sioux Falls, and urge citizens to recognize the important contributions of our Falls Community Health Center in safeguarding health and improving the quality of life for all people in Sioux Falls. And congratulations. Also, tonight, I'd just like to recognize we have Boy Scout Troop 229 from St. Lambert's Church here in Sioux Falls, so we'd like to welcome you here tonight as well to watch city government. At this time, is there any additions, deletions, or a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move for approval, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second? Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? See no further comments? All in favor of approving the consent agenda? Vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knudsen,
Yes.
Litz,
Aye.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted. The consent agenda has been approved. Is there any additions or deletions or a motion to approve the regular agenda? Motion?
Move for approval, Jameson.
Jameson is second.
Second, Benninger.
Benega seconded. Further comments on motion to approve the regular agenda? I see no further motions. All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted. That motion has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Now we're at the part where we have public input. Anyone wishing to address the council for a period of 5 minutes, we'd ask them to come forward, give their name and address, and then proceed. So anyone wishes to address the council at this time? So come forward.
Good evening. My name is John Cook, 2405 Mockingbird Circle, and I'm here this evening because I am been elected to the presidency of the Sioux Empire Community Theater, and did indeed want to come by and give you a little bit of an update. We also did provide a letter for you, which indicates our interest in working with the city at that point where it's appropriate to look at possible interactions in the Orpheum Theater, both in terms of office space and whatever other items might come up for discussion. So we've been obviously very pleased with what's happened over there. You can tell from the letter there have been good things happening over the course of the last couple of years, and we're anxious to continue the relationship that we've had with SMG and the city. So I'm here to express that on my part, of course, and also my fellow officers. You might be interested to know that our officer corps this year includes Sarah Jennings. Sarah is the state director of the AARP. Doug Reichert is continuing as treasurer. Dan Zerfus is our secretary. Dan is a VP for software development over at First Premier. Larry Etten, as he has from day one, continues as our artistic liaison. And with the general philosophy of never letting a good person get away free, we have managed to convince Rod Pierce to continue to work with us on the executive committee of the community theater. So this is simply a thank you once again and an indication of our interest and desire to work regularly and productively with you as a council, with SMG as the management group, and with the mayor in his office.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you coming down and express that. Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes for public input? I see no one coming forward, so we'll move into the regular agenda. What are we at? Item 8? Wait. 16. Item 16.
Hi, Lori Bossman representing the City Finance Office, and I have items 16 through 29. Item 16 will be withdrawn at the request of the applicant, so no action will be necessary on item 16. Item 17 is a request for Sunday sales for LFK Holdings for Smo's Bar, and they do have a retail liquor license. Item 18 is a renewal, and I have a couple renewals that have come in a little bit late, but we're still able to renew those, and this one is for Wings on South Sycamore Avenue. Item 19 is a new package liquor license for TNT Liquor, which is at 3209 East 10th Street. Items 20 and 21 would be new package liquor license and a new package malt beverage license for the new Sunshine Foods, which will be at 1231 East 57th Street. Item 22 would be for a new package malt beverage license for the La Castana Mexican Store, 615 West 11th. Items 23 through 26 are all license transfers. Item 27, again, is another renewal, and this is for the Puffin Stuff at 5108 North Cliff Avenue. And items 28 and 29 are requests for special one-day liquor licenses. And I'd be happy to answer questions on items 16 through 29.
Questions, Lori, on those?
I would move for approval of items 17 through 29.
I second that motion, Knutson.
Motion been made and seconded by Benninga and seconded by Knutson to approve items 17 through 29. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve items 17 through 29 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello, Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Items 17 through 29 have been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 30.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by revising boundaries for voting precincts.
Deborah Owen, City Clerk. Mayor and City Council, this is the second reading of a revised ordinance for Section 14.2 before you for your consideration. This ordinance proposed will add 3 new voting precincts. The ordinance amends precincts 1-15, 2-14, and 3-13. These precincts all had over 1,600 voters at the 2004 general election. The reason for the proposed revision is to split precincts to accommodate the voters by preventing long lines and waiting times for voters. Jeff Schmidt, Assistant Director of Planning, prepared the ordinance and has reviewed the boundary changes. Sue Roust, County Auditor, is in attendance tonight and can answer any technical questions you may have.
Questions of Deb? Thanks, Deborah. Others wish? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a quick question here. I was just kind of curious, because I know a lot of work went into making these boundaries and so forth, but why didn't we maybe just at the precinct have 2 tables, like A through K will, and then, instead of dividing it up into 2 precincts?
If I may, Sue Rouse, County Auditor. By law, we have to set a geographical boundary for a precinct. We can't just divide it up into alphabetically, as you suggest. That's been proposed other places. We're doing, at Memorial Middle School, we're really doing the equivalent of that. We will have 2 tables there and just divide the people into 2 groups. We'll have maps up to help people make sure they get to the right spot. I think we'll have extra staff there as well. The other 2 precincts that are being split, the physical facility is just not big enough anymore, and so that's why 2 of these 3 are actually going to be in a new building. If I could just add one thing to what Ms. Owen said, I talked about in 2004 we had over 1,600 voters at each of these precincts, but I looked back at your city election on April 11th. Precinct 2-8 had over 1,100 voters at a city election. That's just unheard of, and that just shows the great growth of the city and why we need these changes.
Further questions? No, thank you. Others wish to address council on item number 30? If not, it's a council discussion or action. Item number 30.
I move for approval, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconds. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve item 30 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 30 has been approved. Item 31.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by establishing procedures for appointment of the lead internal auditor and internal auditor.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Go ahead.
As you all know, we're in the process of taking on the function of an internal audit on the legislative side of city government. This particular ordinance that you're looking at is very brief. It was proposed to us by Human Resources. We needed to make some textual changes to Chapter 30, the personnel regulations, in 2 instances here. And it basically deals with adding language so that it's clear that those people who are appointed and subject to the supervision of the council are included in these definitions and these methods of appointment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Others wish to address council item number 31. Not council discussion or action on item number 31.
Move for approval, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, is there a second? Motion to second?
Second, James.
Jameson seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 31 vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 31 has been approved. Item 32.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city regarding the number of on-sale dealer retail liquor licenses issued, allowed in the City of Sioux Falls.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this particular ordinance change addresses 5-2.1 of the city ordinances. Current ordinance provides that the city is authorized to issue 85 liquor licenses, on-sale liquor license. This was the maximum number the city could issue as a result of the 2000 census. However, state law does allow municipalities to amend the number of licenses every 2 years based upon the biennial census conducted by the federal government. This ordinance change would simply state that the City of Sioux Falls will always be authorized to issue the maximum number of liquor licenses authorized by statute pursuant to 90% of the population of the city.
Are there questions? Others wish to address council on item 32. Council discussion or action on item 32.
I move for approval. Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve item 32 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 32 has been approved. Item 33.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the issuance of landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Conservancy District, authorizing the use of the proceeds thereof for capital improvements, pledging a portion of the landfill revenue of the city to the payment of said landfill revenue bonds, fixing the terms of such landfill revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement between the city and the South Dakota Conservancy District, and authorizing the execution and delivery of such landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Conservancy District.
Good evening. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. Public Works would like to amend this ordinance to read as follows. An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the issuance of landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources, authorizing the use of proceeds thereof for capital improvements, pledging a portion of the landfill revenue of the city to the payment of said revenue bonds, fixing the terms of said landfill revenue bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement between the city and the South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources, and authorizing the execution and delivery of such landfill revenue bonds to the South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources.
Would somebody move the motion?
So moved.
Kavanaugh and Staggers. Okay. Okay, the motion been made and seconded to approve.
Mr. Chair.
Motion to, go ahead.
Mark, I know we needed to do this, but could you explain to everybody why we had to do this?
There was a textural change that the last sentence actually states the South Dakota Conservatory District, and we needed to amend that to state South Dakota Board of Water and Natural Resources.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion been moved to amend, and is there further discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, this is going to be $1 million for 7 years. And can you specifically tell us what you're going to spend it on?
Yes, there's 4 projects that are currently under construction at the landfill. One is the new drop-off area, the new indoor facility for freon removal. There's a new compost pad being developed, and there's a drainage improvement out there. The cost of those projects is about $2.1 million, and this is about half the funding for those projects.
Further questions? We've got a motion to amend. Go ahead, Bob.
Mark, I was wondering, did the bureaucracy change, or did the Conservancy District change somehow, or did the authority for operating this change to the BWNR? Why is this? I know you're changing the language, but what happened to the bureaucracy that this was?
I'm not so sure I can answer that. Kevin, do you have any information?
Typically, when the Board of Water and Natural Resources issues bonds or goes into the loan program, they are known as the South Dakota Conservancy District. So it's really just a textual change within the ordinance itself. The Board of Water and Natural Resources is the South Dakota Conservancy District, but for bonding and loan purposes, they sometimes go by a different name, and that's what I understand, and I won't challenge them on it.
Very good, thank you.
Further questions? We've got a motion to amend that's before us. Further discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion to amend will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Knutson, Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Motion amendment has been approved, 6 yes, 2 excused. Now is there further discussion on item number 33? Now is there a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Kavanaugh moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Bennigan seconded. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve item 33 as amended will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 33 has been approved as amended. 6 yes, 2 excused. Item 34.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 85th Street and South Grange Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This particular request at the northeast corner of 85th and Grange is approximately 1/3 of an acre in size. The current zoning allows twin homes and fourplexes to be constructed on the site. And due to street alignment, this small remnant is really not feasible to be developed as residential. And so the developer is now requesting a change to allow a small office use, which would be compatible with the surrounding property owners. We did not receive any neighborhood opposition to this request, and the recommendation is to approve.
Questions of Mike? Others wish to address the council on item 34?
Mike, is that an easement going through there, or is that a waterway?
Yes, that's an easement through there.
Is it a utility easement?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Further questions? Others wish to address council on item 34? Council discussion or action on item 34?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Bennigan moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments? Questions? Not all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. Give everybody a chance.
Councilmember Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 34 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 35.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East 53rd Street and South Sycamore Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property involves approximately 10 acres. It's located on the east side of Sycamore Avenue, and it's part of the Prairie View development area. The property owner is requesting this zoning amendment, again, because of the configuration of the street. It involves some desire to change the zoning boundaries, particularly along Banyan and Mission Street, or 53rd Street, east of Sycamore Avenue. The current zoning allows for multifamily, single-family twin homes, as well as some office, and we're changing the configuration of the zoning boundaries in accordance with the street layout that has been approved through a subdivision plan by the City Council.
Questions of Mike? Others wish to address council on item number 35? Council discussion or action on item 35?
Move for approval.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Bennigan seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving 35, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 35 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 36.
Preliminary subdivision plan, 2006-06-04, Prairie Gardens Addition, Phase 4, to the city of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota, 49th Street and Sycamore Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is 77 acres in size and is located east of the previous rezoning item. This is the layout for streets and lots according to our subdivision guidelines. This has been reviewed by all different city staff. It includes provision for on-site detention. It addresses the utility requirements for this particular area. And this shows that it will be primarily low-density residential development. And it does meet all of our standards, and we're recommending approval.
Questions of Mike? Others wish to address council on item number 36. Council discussion or action on item 36 or motion?
Motion approved.
Okay, Costello, is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benega seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 36 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 36 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 37.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 60th Street North near National Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is about 34 acres in size. It's located on the north side of 60th Street, east of Cliff Avenue. This property was recently annexed into the city based on approval by the City Council and a petition from the landowner. The property owner is proposing to develop this into an industrial park area, and this zoning change will allow that to happen. As I mentioned before, at the Planning Commission hearing, we did have one property owner to the northwest testify with a concern regarding the property boundaries, but they were not opposed to the zoning change. And so the recommendation tonight is to approve this property to the I-1 Light Industrial Zoning District.
Questions of Mike on item 37? Go ahead, Bob.
Mike, that area up there has been kind of in transition for a long time, drainage problems and so forth. Is there a plan to correct all of those so that the whole area looks better?
Right. The biggest problem area is probably to the west of this site as you get closer to Cliff Avenue. Some of those businesses fronting on Cliff have experienced drainage problems in the past, and we have been looking at that. Some of that is going to be addressed as the area between this property and the businesses along Cliff will redevelop, and that is going to happen over time. So yes, the drainage situation out there will be improving in the future.
Very good. Thank you.
Mike, is the county cemetery still east of this property?
Yes. And then you got the highway shop next to that.
So that is the county cemetery that's
Yes.
adjacent to that, right?
To the
there?
east of this.
Is there any, like, buffer zone or trees or berms or anything to separate that from the industrial part of that?
There will be setback requirements, yes.
Setback requirements?
Right, which is a buffer zone of,
25 feet.
right, in other words, they won't be able to build right up to that area. And so we'll be working with the landowner on maintaining that buffer area.
I guess due to the nature of the cemetery being there, if they'd put some trees or bushes or something to just kind of separate it when people go out there to visit.
And the cemetery does have an existing tree line along the west side there.
Further questions? If not others, wish to address council on item number 37. Council discussion or action on item
Move for
37?
approval.
I second that motion. Knutson.
Was that Kevin?
Yes.
Kavanaugh and then Knutson. Motion been made and seconded. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of approving item 37 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Benega,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 37 has been approved. Item 38.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at Laverne Whip Street and Mary Beth Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is about 7.5 acres, and it's located south of 26th Street on the Ellis Road, on the west side of the Ellis Road. This development was originally laid out for single-family and twin homes, and the developer has made some changes to the layout based on further review of the market conditions and street alignment out in that particular area. And so the amendment will add additional multifamily zoning and RD zoning, which allows twin homes or up to fourplexes in between proposed commercial and single family to the west. So this is really establishing some buffer zones that we would typically see at the corners of major developments like this. And the recommendation is to approve this zoning change.
Questions of Mike on item number 38? Others wish to address council on item number 38? Council discussion or action?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moves. There's a second. Knutson seconded. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of approving item 38, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 38 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 39.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2006-06-18 to Chapter 15.45.070, Planned Development Districts at Benson Road and North Louise Avenue, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area regulations and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is about 49.5 acres in size. It's located in the southwest corner of the I-29 Benson Road interchange. This is the Thielen property, which is currently being developed by Lloyd Companies. And the City Council heard a presentation some time ago of what the development plans are for this area in terms of a business center, primarily due to a realignment request by the developers of Louise Avenue. This modifies the boundaries of the land uses, and we're shifting the business center to accommodate the realignment of Louise Avenue. So this really still fits in with the original character of the development, but it ties in better now with the future street alignment that we'll see out in that area. And the recommendation is to approve this amendment.
Questions of Mike? Others wish to address the council on item number 39? Council discussion or action on item number 39?
Move for approval, Benega.
Benega moves.
Costello.
Costello seconded. Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 39 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 40.
Deferred action, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations for the Audit Committee and election costs.
Deborah Owen, City Clerk. Mayor and City Council, before you is for your consideration a supplemental appropriation for the lead internal auditor and the election costs for 2006 budget. For the lead internal auditor, it's a fairly straightforward process. This amount has been proposed through the Audit Committee and coordinated with the Human Resources in the Department of Finance. The second portion is to cover the 2006 election costs that were not budgeted for in the 2006 budget. These costs were incurred for both the regular and the runoff elections. Even though the April 11th election expenses were shared with the school district, the runoff election is paid for solely by the city. The 2007 budget for the elections was $25,000. To put this number in perspective, the City Council supplemented the rec center election vote with a $35,000 supplement. Although the City Clerk's office did save approximately $6,000 between the two April elections by not printing a second sample ballot and a map in the Argus Leader, which state statute requires one printing, both the elections together still cost the city a grand total of $60,857.33. An itemized printout has been distributed for each of you at your desks. These include all of the expenses incurred for both of the city elections. If you would like, I also have an additional itemized expenditures from the school district, which is the one that we do joint for the April 11th election. Unfortunately, when calculating the amount necessary from the fund balance, it was mistakenly treated as a reduction to the actual expense needed from the reserved fund. That's that state check. So I would ask the City Council to amend a portion of this ordinance to cover expenses incurred for the April 11th and 25th elections. Before the Council is a written amendment to amend the ordinance to change the amount in the unreserved fund balance from $13,808 to $25,700. This reflects the actual amount of expenses incurred. This amendment has been prepared and is in writing before you, and it will need a motion and a second by the Council. In addition, Mr. Huber is here to answer any questions you may have.
Questions of Deborah?
Just a procedural question. This would not be the time to make amendments to it. We would have to do it at second reading, would it not?
Next week, when is the next one, 14th? Yeah, 14th when you do it. So we'd have it ready for the 14th.
So you don't, okay.
This is first hearing. So we'd be is there any other questions on item 40?
Yeah, Deb, you mentioned that some of this money will be going for the lead auditor.
Yes, the first portion, and that there's a memo, I believe, that you have at your desk.
How much are we going to be paying the lead auditor on an annual basis when we finally?
I don't know that specifically. I know there's a salary range that I can get for you. I think it's up to the audit committee to determine, according to the applicant, how much money they will pay that individual.
Further questions? Let's go to 41.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations for the East Park/School Site Development Project, Parks and Recreation, $315,000.
Don Kearney with Parks and Recreation. As many of you know, we've been working with the school district to acquire land to build a new school park site on the east side of Sioux Falls. In working with the school district, we found a good location that is generally located on the north side of 26th Street. It's the yellow shaded area on the map there on the screen, essentially a quarter-mile west of Highway 11 and East 26th Street. And the city has, in their 2015 growth management plan, identified that site as a good location for a school park site. And there's also generally a school layout that they've put together for the design of the school. In the area below the site that you see there, the open area, it would be the park area that is being proposed to be donated by the Dolly Farm Village. The area that we're talking about now is actually the school park site itself. It would be a 10-acre site that we would seek to share in the cost of that, with 50% city, 50% school district. And historically, the city and the school district have shared in the land acquisition costs for these sites. The amendment before you is for $315,000, of which $175,000 will be used for half of the land acquisition cost, and then the other $140,000 is for improvements to the adjacent park property that would be donated by the Dolly Farm Village. The improvements that we're talking about are grading, seeding, sidewalks, enough to make sure that the site is usable for the kids that are going to and from school. The area is seeded so that we don't have a weed lot, so to speak. And then we also traditionally have always shared parking stalls with the school district to supplement the existing stalls that they have in their elementary schools. And it's something that we've done in the other school park sites. The improvements would be completed as the school district looks to develop the entire site. They would grade, seed, and also install the sidewalks as part of their contract with the school contractor. And then we would reimburse the school district based on actual costs of bids received on that particular project. This item is also related to the item number 48 on your agenda, which would amend the capital improvement plan to include this project. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions?
Yeah, Don, on this purchase of land with the school district, do we have property lines indicating, well, this part of the land is the city and this part of the land is the school districts?
Can you put the other plan up? The plan where you see the blue line, yeah, there you go. That line, everything to the south of there would actually be park property. Everything to the north, and what we've agreed to do with the school district is that we would jointly own the area to the north of that line, where the school district would own half the property and the city would own half the property in a joint deed, so that we'd be both ownership rights with regard to that piece. And then the Dolly Farm Village would donate the bottom half that we would also jointly own. So the entire site would be jointly owned in the end.
Further questions? Kevin?
Don, one of the reasons we purchased land jointly with the school district is the possibility of down the road putting community centers in. Do we contemplate doing that on this property, and is there room?
We do not contemplate doing that on this particular park school site. Only a park and a school, no community center.
Okay. Other questions? If not, let's go to item 42.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by amending the schedule of rates to be charged by the City Light and Power Department for furnishing electric current for light and power purposes.
Good evening, Kevin Smith with the City of Sioux Falls. With me tonight is Mark Cotter, Director of Public Works, and Blair Metzger with DGR Engineering. As was reported earlier this afternoon, the City of Sioux Falls, the Public Works Department, in 2005 undertook a master plan for all of our facilities. We wanted to take a look at where we needed to focus on replacing, reconstructing, and expanding our infrastructure. And a logical follow-up to that was, how are we going to pay for those improvements? What we have presented, or what was presented this afternoon, was the findings of a detailed rate analysis that DGR performed for us after they worked on the master plan. And I think, without going through the entire ordinance, I'd like to state that we have not raised rates in the light division since 1994. That's 12 years. In that time, we have absorbed costs of increasing supplemental power, as well as increasing primary power costs from the Western Area Power Administration. Some of the charges that you will see in the proposed rate ordinance do reflect our cost of doing business, if you will. Everything from the power to actually the installation and removal of street lights to the public and to the development community. So what we're trying to do is lay out a roadmap that ensures that the power and light, municipal power and light, is financially stable for the next several years. And with that, I'll answer any questions, and certainly Blair is here to answer questions as well.
Questions? Not. Is there a motion to set the hearing date for items 40 through 42 for August 14th?
I so move, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benninga seconds. Further comment on the motion to set the hearing date for the 14th? No further comments. All in favor will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. The hearing date has been set for August 14th for items 40 through 42. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 43.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations for sesquicentennial celebration costs. Planning Department. Donations, $12,269, and revenue from John Green Print and Mayor's Gala Ball tickets, $4,657.
I'm presenting this tonight on behalf of Erica Beck, who was involved in the sesquicentennial activities on behalf of the City Planning Office, and has been a very successful year, celebrating our 150th birthday. And because of the success of our activities and events, we've been able to receive an additional $12,000+ in donations from individuals and from area businesses, which will be used to go back into pay for various expenses related to the sesquicentennial celebration, and then also the sale of tickets to the Mayor's Gala Ball, as well as the prints from John Green, which we're still selling in case anybody's interested. If they want to get a print, it's a very beautiful piece of art. And so far, we've raised an additional $43.76, so this will also be used to cover some of our expenses.
Questions? If not, is there a motion to set the hearing date for items 43 for August 21st?
Move to set the date.
Jameson moved it. Who seconded it?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Motion been made and seconded to set the hearing date for item 43 for August 21st. See no further discussion. All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 43, the hearing date has been set for August 21st. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 44.
Deferred action, a resolution vacating West 22nd Street from South Ellis Road to 457 feet east, proposed South Wheatland Avenue.
Shannon Austin, City Engineering. This is a deferral from the July 10th City Council meeting in order for the applicant to go through some additional issues brought up from the school district as well as surrounding neighbors. They're still working through the issues, and the applicant is requesting another deferral to the September 11th City Council meeting.
So you'd like us to make a motion to defer until September 11th for item 44.
Hey, I so
Motion.
moved.
Knutson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Knutson, Kavanaugh second. To defer item 44 until September 11th. All in favor of that motion to defer will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 44 has been deferred until September 11th. 7 yes and 1 excused. Item 45.
A resolution amending the future land use map as part of the Sioux Falls 2015 Growth Management Plan east of Marion Road from Maple Street to Madison Street from the existing allocation of single-family residential, multifamily residential, industrial/economic development, commercial, and single-family residential to propose allocation of multifamily industrial/economic development, commercial, and office/institutional.
This property is owned by the South Dakota Land Company. It's located on the east side of Marion Road and west of the Southeast Technical Institute campus. When we did the 2015 plan update, we showed that this area would generally be residential and industrial. And of course, that was based on information as we had at that time. And now with the changes up in this area along Marion Road, with the projected growth of the Southeast campus, with the USDSU announcement up along 60th Street, the South Dakota Land Company has come in with a proposed change to their campus as well. And this is about 103 acres of land. The changes would provide for additional land area to accommodate different business technology land uses, as well as more office and institutional land uses. And then the corners along Maple and Madison would be reserved for future commercial multifamily development. So it is a change in the land use from what we had adopted in the 2015 plan, and this has been recommended for approval by the Planning Commission based on generally conforming to our land use policies that we have.
Questions of Mike from the council? Others that wish to address the council on item number 45? Council discussion or action on item 45? Is there a motion?
Move for approval, Benega.
Benega, is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of approving item 45, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 45 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 46.
A resolution amending the future land use map as part of the Sioux Falls 2015 Growth Management Plan at the southeast corner of 41st Street and Powder House Road from the existing allocation of commercial and single-family residential to proposed allocation of commercial, office/institutional, multifamily, and single-family residential.
This property is located directly east of Harmadon Park. It's about 153 acres of land area that was recently annexed into the city limits by petition of the property owner. And again, when the 2015 plan was done for this property, we showed an area of commercial, multifamily, and residential, with the majority of the property proposed to be single-family residential. This is a similar item to the previous one, that with market changes and the growth of Sioux Falls in this direction, the landowner has determined that the market is going to be a little different for this property. And so the amendment to the land uses would reduce the number of acres of single-family and increase the acres of multifamily residential for apartments along Powder House Road, would increase the amount of commercial development by about 15 acres, and increase the amount of office and institutional development by about 6 acres. And this has also been reviewed by the Planning Commission for approval, and it does comply with our 2015 land use policies.
Questions of Mike on item 46? Bob?
Mike, with the advent of, I think they're going to call it South Dakota 100, should that whole corridor be reevaluated as far as the 2015 plan, as far as land use is concerned, so that we have something to tell those folks in the future what this is expected to be?
Right, and we're in the process of doing that. We're working with the state of South Dakota because they're out now doing more work on the right-of-way alignment. And so we have been working with a number of property owners up and down this corridor on reevaluating what the future land uses will be.
Thank you.
Further questions of Mike on item 46? Others wish to address council on item 46? Council discussion or action on item 46?
I move for approval.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benninger seconded. Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor of approving item 46, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 46 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 47.
Preliminary subdivision plan, 2006-06-13, South Dakota Business Technology Park, addition to the city of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota, West Maple Street and North Marion Road. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is the same land that was approved by the council at item 45 regarding the land use amendments. This shows the proposed street layout based on the projected land uses that will be allowed on this property. And this is the preliminary plan that goes through the city review, staff review for everything from drainage to utilities to street right-of-way. And the developers, again, are trying to look at some unique features of this development that will tie in with the expansion of the Southeast Technical Institute and also be compatible with surrounding development north of Maple, west of Marion Road, and south of Madison. And one of the features that you'll kind of see in the middle of this is a proposed roundabout, which is a traffic calming device that I think we'll start to see more and more of in the city. And their attempt is to look at land uses that will be compatible with the future business technology theme of this development area. And so this does meet all the city requirements and is being recommended for approval.
Questions of Mike? Gerald?
Mike, what are you calling a traffic calming device?
The roundabout, the traffic circle, right there.
Other questions? Others wish to address council on item number 47?
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
The roundabout, is this something that the planning department has encouraged the developer to put in? Or?
The developer actually came to us with the idea, but we are going to be seeing more of these. The Dolly Farm Village site had one. It's a trend that's been going on around the country that developers like because it does help slow down the traffic in their development, and it can also be an aesthetic focal point for their development. So they came to us with this proposal.
And we're going to start requiring this in certain developments, then you mentioned.
We don't have any requirements for them other than the size that they need to be, but we don't have any requirements that they have to be
Because
located.
I've seen good, roundabouts, and I've seen terrible ones too. So
Yes. Ours will be good.
they're going to be good.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Further question to Mike on item 47. Others who wish to address the council on item number 47. Council discussion or action on item 47.
Yeah.
Move for approval, Jameson.
Okay, let's get Jameson. Is there a second?
I'll second the good ones.
Okay.
Okay.
And then do you have a question?
Yeah, because there's a bad one on Edgewood, isn't there? I mean, it's
That
terrible.
was really a retrofit that we tried to put in after the
Yeah,
development was already in
okay.
place.
Yeah, okay.
Got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 47. Further discussion? I see no further discussion. All in favor of that motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 47 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 48.
A resolution amending the 2006-2010 capital program by adding the East Park/School Site project, amending the budget for the Lewis and Clark Rural Water Supply project, and add a distiller.
The first one is the basis of what Don Kearney spoke about for the East Side School. There's additional discussion on that. We can have Don come up. The next two items is Lewis and Clark. We provided some background information to tell you where we were at the beginning of the year and where we're at tonight, requesting this additional $2 million. Essentially, at the beginning of the project, we had a balance of $3.4 million. But that is, after the CIP was in place, is when the negotiations began for the expansion, which took our quarterly payment from $396,564.25 and added an additional $875,000 to bring our quarterly payment, or our revised payment, up to $1.271 million. And you can see there that we've made our current fund balance allowed us to make the first 3 quarterly payments, but and actually not quite, we're at a negative balance right now in that account of $346,000. And so our next slide shows our breakdown of our funding request for the additional $2 million. I will state that this funding is coming from the water fund cash balance, so it's simply a transfer, but we wanted to give you some basis of what we'll use the $2 million for. Starting at the top with the $2 million, we'll make our final quarterly payment. We'll correct our negative balance of $346,000. We're budgeting cost for bond counsel as we go through our last quarter here and negotiate how we're going to structure the prepayment of the $72 million, and that's a consultant and legal cost that we have built in. And then we also have the $51,000 fee that was for the water rate analysis. That's the balance of the $2 million. The bottom, again, is what our quarterly payment was, which was the first 3 items there, came to a balance of $396,564.25. And then after the negotiation with the City of Sioux Falls and Lewis and Clark, that added an additional $875,000, brings our quarterly payment up to $1,271,564.25.
Questions of Mark? Others who wish to address the council on item number 48.
What Mark, was the lobby charge for a lobbyist to intermediate between us, or what's a lobby charge?
I'm going to probably defer to Kevin Smith to give us some basis of that.
Lobbying costs are not covered by the federal cost share, so each member is responsible for their proportionate share. We do have a lobbyist in Washington, D.C. for the project. The way the costs for lobbying are split up is by capacity, so the more you have reserved, the more you pay in lobbying, which means we pay the lion's share of that. But it's always broken out separately for accounting purposes, so when we go back to the Bureau of Reclamation at the end of the year, they know that we're not using federal funds to pay for lobbying on a federal project.
Who's our bond counsel? Do we have somebody that?
We've been working with Betsy Abbey from Lindquist and Venom out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. We also are reviewing proposals for a financial advisor, but we don't have the bond package. I'd say we're nowhere near complete on that, and that's something that we won't be bringing back to the council probably until, I'd say, late 2006. So we're kind of at the next stage of reviewing the proposals for financial advisors for that.
Kevin, kind of a follow-up to that. I realize that lawyers are paid way better than city councilors, unfortunately. But does that, I mean, that amount, $330,000, I mean, does that have to do with hiring the financial advisor, or why is that such a large number?
I think that's tied to the bond issuance itself and all the fees that come along with $72 million in bonds.
I think I'm in the wrong business.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 48? Not as a council discussion or action on item 48.
Mayor, just one additional
Okay, go ahead.
piece of information. There was a comment the other day about what the distiller is. It's a critical piece at Water Rec for wet chemistry, and so we have a picture for you to make sure we dispelled any of those thoughts or comments. So, that's all, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Council discussion or action on item number 48. Is there a motion?
Move for approval, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, is there a second?
I second that, Knutson.
Knutson seconded. Further discussion? I see no further discussion, so all in favor of the motion to approve item 48, vote yes. Opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 48 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 49.
Authorizing the transfer of appropriations from the 2006 contingency account to the Planning and Building Services Major Organizational Unit for expenditures related to dilapidated building demolitions. Amount $30,000.
Through the city's code enforcement program, we have the responsibility to deal with hazardous and unsafe buildings. And on occasion, we are required by code to order the demolition of structures by the property owner. In some cases, the city ends up having to accomplish that demolition, and the costs are assessed back to the property owner. We've identified a number of structures this year that we believe may end up falling into that category. And so we've identified the $30,000 of funds that we think will be sufficient to get us through the balance of this year. And that money would be used to deal with everything from performing title searches to hiring a consultant to deal with asbestos removal, mold surveys, and in some cases we have to do emergency repairs until the structures can be removed in order to maintain the safety of the neighborhood. We have identified a number of structures on South Willow, North Nesmith, North French, Duluth, Summit, that will potentially see some type of demolition work yet this year. And I should also say that we really have great cooperation with our Public Works Department to come in and actually help us remove some of these structures. So this is the amount of money that we believe will get us through the rest of this year to deal with the housing units that we will be identifying for either hazardous or unsafe demolition action.
Kevin?
Mike, do we normally budget for this type of an expenditure?
We identified $10,000 this year, which obviously is not adequate, and you'll see tomorrow night when we have our budget presentation that we bumped that up so that we can continue to be aggressive with these structures that need to be removed.
Well, just to comment, I think it's unfortunate that the city has to take such measures. I think it's pretty drastic when we are forced to actually demolish a building, but it's only as a result of uncooperative owners of that property, and it's really the neighborhood that suffers if we don't take these buildings down.
That's correct. That's correct.
You were next. Then.
Yes. Mike, I was just trying to count. We're going to demolish 4 residences, is that right?
Right now, we have a number of units that are in different stages of review, but I would say that there's probably another handful that we could yet see go this year.
So we could have 9 total? demolished?
Potentially, yes, which is probably more than we've done the last 2 or 3 years.
And then after they're demolished, the property owner still holds the title to the land?
Yes.
And then we have a lien on the property then?
Right.
Huh?
And in some cases, the community development, Habitat for Humanity, or others might come in and try to buy that property for redevelopment of an affordable housing structure that meets current codes.
And to demolish a house, does it require court action? Do we have to get a court action to
No,
do that?
we just have to go through the city attorney's office and do the proper notifications, go through the due process. So
Okay.
it's really a last resort, but in some cases, the neighbors can't wait to get those units out of there.
Bob?
Say, Mike, with this $30,000 up, do you contract the actual excavation removal out to private contractors? Do city employees do this with city equipment?
The city employees through Public Works have been doing it during their unbusy time, which isn't very often nowadays. The asbestos abatement, we contract that out because we're not qualified to do that. So whatever we can do internally or in-house to cut down the costs, we've tried to do that.
Okay. Are tipping fees out at the dump waived in a situation like this, or is there a special pit that you take this type of material to?
It's taken out to the landfill, but usually typically that's included as part of the cost that we put a lien on. So
you can do 4 units for $30,000.
Well, again, the actual demolition is being done by city forces. And,
okay, so that those costs are not reflected in this
right.
$30,000. I see.
Yeah, I was wondering, Mike, do you work with Randy Bartunik and his community housing? I mean,
yes.
You know, when Randy talks to us, he likes to get these terrible houses, and so this seems like these would be perfect houses for him to get.
I'll take you through a couple of them, and we can see that they're really beyond. Yes.
Because he usually demolishes many of the houses he buys anyway, so.
But the community development is typically made aware of these units, and again, by the time we order the demolition, we've determined that they really cannot be rehabbed to any reasonable use economically. So it's a measure of last resort.
But I guess what I'm saying is Randy, when he buys these dilapidated houses, usually tears them down anyway and then puts a new house on them.
In some cases that happens. In some cases they can be rehabbed. It depends on the condition of the structure.
Other questions?
I just wanted to make a comment. I think this is a great step forward in urban renewal, or whatever you want to call it, Mike. I think that this is something that we need to keep on top of in this city. We've got a lot of housing stock that's getting upon 100 years old, and we need to do something.
Others wish to address council on item number 49. Is there council discussion or action on item 49?
Move for approval, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, who's seconded?
Jameson.
Costello, who was it? Costello seconded. Motion been made and seconded to approve item 49. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion. All in favor of the motion to approve item 49 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knudsen?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. Item 49 has been approved. Item
Mr. Chairman?
50.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, could I ask for a 5-minute recess?
Sure. We'll have a 5-minute recess. We'll be back here at 8:15.
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Blitz.
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. The CIP has been amended. Further amendments?
Mr. Mayor, I have an amendment for an outdoor pool at Drake Springs. I move capital improvement plan project number 187064, Drake Springs swimming pool replacement, by decreasing funding to $430,199 in year 2007 and decreasing funding to $3,943,488 in year 2008, and change the description to Drake Springs pool. Construct an outdoor pool, design and construct, CIP, page 83. Savings to the city, $6,875,089.
Is there a second?
For discussion purposes, second, Benninga.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I think this is a particularly an important amendment for us this evening because a lot of people are remembering December 2005 when we had a vote on the rec center. I've been going around the neighborhoods, and from time to time, we have people who said, we've already voted on this once, and they don't want this again. So this amendment is designed to prevent having Rec Center 2 and replacing this with what we thought was going to be a neighborhood pool. I mean, it started off that all we want to do is replace Drake Springs, and then, of course, it ballooned and ballooned and ballooned to the tune of about $12 million. Because of these financial difficulties the city is in, having a structural deficit of $2.8 million, also because of the economy, we're kind of unsure what's going to be happening. We have high interest rates. We have a lot of houses in Sioux Falls for sale, a lot of houses, and also because of high costs for fuel. The economic times we should be cautious, I guess is what I'm saying. And one way to be very cautious here is not to have extravagant spending for an indoor pool, but very simply to have an outdoor pool to replace what we have now.
Further comments on the motion to amend? Bob?
One thing I think we need to be aware of is that this is an opportunity for the city of Sioux Falls to step forward. Having an indoor year-round aquatic facility for the citizens of Sioux Falls would be a step in the right direction. We need to understand that this needs to be large enough to be a citywide pool in the wintertime, not just a summer pool as Laurel Oaks and Terrace Park are. So if the city is going to provide some of these amenities for the citizens of Sioux Falls, and Lord only knows in the wintertime we need something to do when it's 20 below zero, that I think this is the type of a project that needs to be considered. Now, I'm not saying we have to build it, but I think we ought to go forward with the planning and come up with some actual costs, not just an estimate of what it's going to cost, but some actual rock hard solid estimates of what it will cost to build an indoor aquatic center. I would even go one step further, that the facility ought to be built with the capability of expansion to a 50-meter indoor pool. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we have to build that now, but at least the plans ought to provide for that option in the future without a major restructure of the building that's being proposed. And if we don't look at those type things, the city of Sioux Falls will be remiss, and I would encourage your support for maintaining the indoor pool concept, and let's go forward with some designs so that we can meet the needs of the public in the future.
Further comments on the motion to amend? Kevin?
Just to follow up on Bob's comments, I want to remind everybody that the item as it exists now, we will do engineering next year and construction in 2008. There's a lot of time between now and 2008. I didn't realize we were in such financial tough times, Kermit, but I think it'll get better. I believe, as Bob said, that we have an opportunity here to replace a neighborhood pool, which we know we have to do, and also do something for the larger community. And I am not, at this point in time, interested in passing up that opportunity right now. I'm not saying that we definitely will do this, but once we get the engineering done and some revised cost estimates, I think we'll have a better opportunity to decide whether we want to go forward with the indoor pool. I would urge your rejection of the amendment.
Further comments? Okay, Bob?
I find myself in the unusual position of agreeing with Kermit, but for different reasons here this evening. I look at the pool, and I look at when downtown goes across that bridge and we start looking at that property in a little bit different view. Do we want a big pool facility down there? On one hand, I would think that we would. On the other hand, I would think that we wouldn't. I think that it's going to be commercial offices that will spill over onto that side, probably some high-rise apartment type things. It may fit into the scheme of things or not. I don't know. I've struggled with this pool thing here because I think Sioux Falls somewhere along the line would like to have a big pool and a big enough pool with the eight-lane thing. I just struggle with the idea of, is this the right place for that pool? Is this the right time for that pool? I've made my mind up about it, but as Kevin has pointed out, if we go ahead with this here, there's plenty of time. It's not written in stone whether we're going to build it or not, and we really don't know exactly what we're talking about at this point. So I just wanted to comment.
Further comments? I see no further comments. All in favor of approving the amendment to construct an outdoor pool?
I guess I would say that, realistically, once we get something in the CIP, it's pretty much there. And if this amendment is rejected, most likely we will go ahead and do an indoor pool. And just this evening, we can see that this project is even ballooning more. Initially, once again, we started with an outdoor pool, just simply to replace a neighborhood pool. Then we got to an indoor pool at $12 million with a 25-meter lap. Tonight, there's been talk about having a 50-meter pool. So even tonight, you can see how this project has already ballooned. So to prevent this project from just completely getting out of control, I urge you to strongly support this amendment to have an outdoor pool for the neighborhood at Drake Springs.
Gerald?
Well, Mr. Mayor and council members, I haven't come to a complete conclusion on where I'm at. I seconded the motion because I felt it was important for us to make comments on a significant line item in our budget. But I do think that first of all, we don't always rubber stamp anything that gets into the CIP program. We've deferred and delayed and frankly, taken out of the program many projects in the 4 years that I've been around. So I think this gives us the opportunity for one more year of community input. And I think that's probably the most important piece, because for those of us who frankly are riding the fence in some ways on the location, whether it should be done in 1 step, 2 steps, what the economic issues are of the community, if there is any concerns, the growth of the community, we have a year before we have to make this decision. And I've never found that waiting that year to get more input is a bad thing to have happen. So I think it's good to have more community input, and I'm willing to wait a year to have that happen.
Further? Pat?
Don, can you tell us that we're budgeting $1.2 million in 2007? When are we going to spend that? Begin the first part of it, or is this going to be summer? Or?
I think it largely depends on if you want to do additional public input processes. If there are specific items that you'd like us to see us look at, we can certainly do that. The idea of an indoor pool obviously is if you can open it any time during the year. If it was an outdoor pool, obviously the timing would be a little different because you wouldn't want to lose a season of swimming. And so I think after you guys decide what you want to do tonight, I think it'd be a good time to sit down with the committees of the council and talk about where you want to go from here. But obviously, if you wanted to move forward, we would start right away. If you wanted to wait, certainly that's out there too.
I guess what concerns me is that, we've got it on the books, and yeah, it's a long time till 2008. We can always change it, but I think we're planning on starting to spend the money now or soon in 2007. And I'm behind this project 100%, and I don't want to see anything. I would prefer not to see anything slow it down. So it seems like we need to decide if we're going to go forward with this thing or we're going to not. And I guess I'd urge the rest of the council to support the project as it originally stands.
Further comments?
I guess as I
Just excuse me, Dee's got the floor.
Sorry. I would just like to add that I actually have struggled recently some on this topic, but I really am a total supporter of doing an inside pool, and we can't get it built soon enough for me. I do think it's important for those people who prefer an outdoor pool to realize that it's very possible and I think wonderful. It would be wonderful for us to include every outdoor element we can. I mean, lots and lots and lots of lawn chairs like Terrace Park and Laurel Oaks in my neighborhood, and any other outside elements. I mean, maybe even a spray pool over there and so forth. And then as far as location, as I one afternoon recently drove around that entire neighborhood for quite a while and stopped and got out and wandered around Drake Springs, and I started thinking, oh, no, this isn't the best location and so forth. And I was thinking maybe it should be more in a, almost, in the residential area. And then I talked to some residents in that area, and they said, Dee, we don't want the pool right across the street, right with the lights, right in our yard. I mean, they knew my intentions were good, but they said, no, I wasn't thinking quite correctly, so that was helpful. And again, it gives us some time to work out these details. But when someone else said, Dee, remember that it's Cliff Avenue and 10th Street. I mean, that's great access, great parking, plenty of room, and the land belongs to us. Kind of like, what are you thinking, Dee? And so that's been helping me, too. But I will be voting for this project.
Bob? Okay. Further comments? We've got a motion for us to approve a motion to construct an outdoor pool. Everybody understands the motion? All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed to that motion will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Councilmember Costello?
No.
Benega?
No.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Jameson?
No.
Knudsen?
No.
Litz?
No.
All members present have voted. That motion fails. Further motions?
The amendment I'm going to submit now deals with a dog park. I move that capital improvement plan project number 142064, Spencer Park Development, by deleting $129,920 in year 2007, CIP page 101. Savings to the city, $129,900.
Motion before us. Is there a second to the motion? That dies for lack of a second. Is there further motions? Yes.
Yeah, I guess if I can't get rid of the dog park, I must be in the doghouse tonight here. I don't know. But I do have a few more amendments.
Okay.
And the next amendment deals with fishing access on the Big Sioux River. I think Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn would like this one. I move that capital improvement plan project number 164064, Greenway Fishing Access, by deleting $5,600 in year 2009 and $116,000 in year 2010, CIP page 125. Savings to the city, $121,600.
Is there a motion to second?
I would second that for discussion purposes.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess Huckleberry Finn, in the novel written by Mark Twain, never worried about the government providing a fishing access. When I was younger, going out and fishing, I never had to worry about the government paying for access. I think that this is just completely unnecessary, wasteful city spending.
Further comments on the motion to amend, Bob?
As long as I seconded, I better comment. I think this council some time ago approved a Greenway improvement plan. And in that Greenway improvement plan were these type items, and we'll come across a couple more in the amendments, I think, that are being proposed that were specific, identified, shall we say, desired things along the bike path of the city of Sioux Falls, along the access to the river and so forth. And I'll not be supporting the amendment, but I think it's important to understand that we as a council voted for this plan and we ought not scuttle it by chopping away at it piece by piece.
Kevin?
Well, Bob is right. The Greenway Plan does call for this and several other amenities, and I think you have to take a look at them in total. And just technicality here, we're not saving $121,000 in city funds. $75,000 of this is federal money.
Further comments? Got a motion before us? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we can see that once you get something in a plan, it's very difficult to make any changes to the plan, and that's what's going on here. I'm making a very modest proposal here to save taxpayers in Sioux Falls and Miami, Florida, and New York City, and all across the country, $121,600.
Okay, we got a motion before us. Go ahead.
I just need to make one comment, and those of you who know where I work, I get plenty of input from people who frankly would have the opportunity to use this kind of access, and it would be tragic if we don't pay attention to those people who have paid taxes for years and years and years, not to have access to fishing areas, to be able to use these kinds of facilities in the latter years of their lives, and to deny them that privilege, I think, is just incredibly wrong.
Well, I guess I'm more confident that senior citizens can find a place on the bank of the Big Sioux River to do this without $121,600 being spent. More confident in them.
Got a motion before us to delete the Greenway fishing access. Further comments? Motion been made and it's been seconded. Are there further comments? If there's no further comments, all in favor of the motion to delete Greenway fishing will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Costello?
No.
Benega?
No.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Jameson?
No.
Knudsen?
No.
Litz?
That motion has failed. Further motions?
Yes, the next amendment deals with one station point at Pasley Park. I move capital improvement plan project number 173064, Greenway Station Park at Pasley Park, by deleting $3,680 in year 2009 and $49,680 in year 2010 CIP, page 126. Savings to the city, $53,360.
Is there a second? That motion dies for lack of a second. Further motions?
The next amendment deals with the farmers market. I move capital improvement plan project number 010064, Falls Park Development Farmers Market Shelter, by deleting $270,300 in year 2007, CIP page 84, savings to the city, $270,300.
Is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello, okay, go ahead.
Well, this amendment here wants to delete a building for the farmers market at Falls Park. And one of the primary reasons I introduced this is because many of the people that come from outside of Sioux Falls to sell their farm goods in the past have done it downtown, and they prefer downtown selling their goods instead of at Falls Park where the traffic is much less. And so focusing on the concerns of the people that sell these goods, I think we should have them downtown and not have this shelter built at Falls Park.
Further comments? Got a motion to delete Falls Park Farmers Market.
Who was the second?
Pardon? Further comments?
No, I probably should have abstained myself from this. I don't know how that is fact, if I can abstain from the next vote or not, but
Why?
we have an interest in.
On this vote here, you should abstain? Okay. Well,
I guess a question, if the person abstaining from this, if they can be the second.
No, he can't. So we don't have a second, so now.
I'll second it, Benninga.
Benninga seconds.
Well,
go ahead.
I guess a question for the park department, because I think we list this as a farmer's market structure, but it's really a shelter that can be used by others other than when the farmer's market is there, and I think that ought to be explained to the public, so.
Dave or Don?
Dave Fisher, Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation. The shelter that was contained within the master plan that was approved for North Falls is primarily a farmer's market shelter, and we've discussed it with those folks and been assured that they do like the Falls Park location, and they can't wait to be involved in the design of it. Certainly the farmer's market isn't there throughout the year, and so I would guess that we would have special events which we intend to attract and believe we will attract to Falls Park, where that structure could be of use to those special events.
Is the structure you've got, is there anything planned? Is it like an open air roof type thing, L-shaped, U-shaped, that people can pass through under? Is that the idea of this?
Yeah, it's an open air shelter to provide shade in an open air environment for, like I say, the farmer's market. But certainly you could envision other uses for that during special events.
Has there been any design plans for this at this time?
No, we actually have the design, funding for the design in 2007 as well. Right now all we have is a concept plan, which is part of the master plan for North Falls. So no detail to it yet.
Kermit?
Yeah, so Dave, you're not planning to have any heating or air conditioning or anything like that, is that correct?
No, I don't believe that's anything that's in the plan. Anyway, I don't think it's anything that's been requested by the farmers market. I could see that there would be electricity and some utilities, some level of utilities that would be provided, but I don't see it as any kind of cooling function there.
So this is basically a building for the summer months?
Pardon?
This is basically a building for the summer months?
Right. Okay. Spring, summer, fall.
Jerome?
I have to ask, if we don't have a plan, we don't have only the concept, how do we know how much it's going to cost?
As a part of the master plan, there was also a cost estimate for the master plan, and it was broken out. And the $270,000 figure includes the parking lot that it sits in and also the shelter that serves the farmers market. So
how big of a structure will this be?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Further questions?
Well, I guess more of a comment than a question is, when I have traveled to other cities, I have seen permanent structures that are used like this that can be used year-round for these purposes. I mean, this is not a new concept really at all. I think it's a very practical one, and I just think Falls Park, I mean, it's going to only get busier and busier and busier, so I think it's a great idea.
Okay, we've got a motion been made and seconded to approve to delete the farmers market out of Falls Park. Motion been made and seconded. No further discussion. All in favor of that motion, we'll vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Jameson?
No.
Knutson?
No.
Litz?
Yes.
No. That motion fails. Next motion.
The next amendment I have deals with pavilion windows. I move capital improvement plan project number 010869, windows on north, south, west sides of pavilion, by deleting $286,447 in year 2008 and $295,082 in year 2009, CIP page 159, savings to the city $581,529.
Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconds. Go ahead.
Yes, this has been in the CIP for a long time to replace these windows at the pavilion. A number of years ago, I think the number was up to about $750,000 for replacement. Now it's down to $581,529. The original intent seemed to be for aesthetic reasons. Steve Matley, formerly with the planning department, this was one of his primary concerns, is aesthetics. However, in recent years, there's been an attempt to justify this economically by saying these windows are going to save a lot on utilities. Projected savings on utilities is about $19,000 a year. Most businesses would not put in new windows on a savings of $19,000 and pay $581,529 for windows.
Further comments on the motion? Kevin?
I have a question, if I might, for finance. Gene, can you tell me how much revenue is produced by the entertainment tax, approximately?
I want to say it's around $4 million.
And our bond payments to retire the debt for the pavilion and the convention center?
Tom, have you got all those numbers?
Tom Huber with the Finance Department. The tax revenue estimated in '07 for the entertainment tax is $4.6 million. The debt service for the entertainment tax, what the entertainment tax would carry of the debt service, is just over $1.5 million.
So the additional $3.1 million is used for things like windows?
It's both operating and capital.
Okay. Can we use the entertainment tax for the operating subsidy?
Yeah.
Yes, the entertainment tax can be used for both operating and capital.
My point is, I believe that we put over $1 million into the contract with the Washington Pavilion Management Group as a subsidy for their operating expenses. And we're using sales tax to do that, I believe.
That's true.
I believe given the amount of money left over in the entertainment tax, it should be used for operating subsidies, for the pavilion, for the convention center, and that we should use entertainment tax money to do it, thereby freeing up our second penny sales tax. I just think the windows at this point in time, if you asked 100 people about replacing those windows, 99 of them would say, I didn't realize there was any difference. You have to point it out to people. I don't even believe it's the management group's priority to have these windows replaced. As it was said, I think it's a project that some people in the administration have always pushed for, and I just don't believe until we pay off our entertainment tax, pay off our bond on the pavilion and the convention center, that we need to be spending the money on things like this.
Bob?
The other day when we had our strategic planning session, I did stop on the south side and looked at several of the windows. They are new. They're a sealed window. They're a vacuum sealed window, and the tuck pointing around the edges, the seal looked good on it to me. So I was kind of surprised to see this in here. When we went through in the early 90s, when we went through the building, were these windows not new at that time? I guess I don't know. Is anybody? They were not new, Mike? Sure.
Further comments? Steve?
Well, I respectfully disagree with a couple of my good colleagues, because I think that it's actually crazy that those windows are still boarded up, and that I can't imagine that the city would build any new buildings and not have enough money to have real windows, real glass in windows. And I think that from what I know after just being on the council for a few years, is I think that the management, the people who manage the pavilion, are very supportive of having glass in their windows instead of boards, so to speak. But I mean, it's just that they are always more focused on just getting enough money from the city to run the operational part of the pavilion, so that they just don't rabble-rouse like I do about getting real windows downtown in buildings. And I mean, we would never build an event center and have windows like that. We'd never build a rec center and have windows like that. I mean, honestly, I mean, to me, it is an aesthetic issue, and they're hideous. And so if Kevin had polled me, I'll tell you I'd be that one person that would say, well, there'd be more than me who would say that let's get some glass in those windows even before this if we could.
Further comments? We've got a motion before us. Bob?
Well, I guess one of the questions, deleting physically removes that project from the CIP. I would rather see it moved out. If it's not going to be done in 2008, 2009, move it out a couple of years and reevaluate it. And I would offer that as a substitute motion.
What your substitute motion is move it just like the 286-47 from 208 to 209 to 295 to 210? That be your motion?
Just to move it out 2 years.
Second,
just a second. But you'd move
those.
Would you move the first one that
move
286 to
2008
209
and 209 to 211?
Okay. Everybody understand that? Then seconded by Benninga. Got a substitute motion. All in favor of that substitute motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. Go ahead.
We discussed
Go ahead.
discussion. This is 2008 and 9, so this isn't 2007. And do we really need to do this? Can we just have our discussion at some other time? And we're not doing this for 2007. So
my point is, if it's deleted out, then they would have to reintroduce it. This way, you're delaying it only 2 years, and I think that would be more appropriate.
And I would say let's just vote down the amendment and leave it as is.
We may get that opportunity.
We got the amendment before us. That substitute motion to amend that's before us right now. Everybody understand it? So all in favor of the substitute motion to amend will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
No.
Costello?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knudsen?
No.
Litz?
In that Cooper and I can climb up a ladder and look at those third floor windows, I'd say yes.
What'd you do?
Cooper and I would like to climb up to the third floor and look at those windows on the ladder.
So you're a yes?
I'm voting yes.
You're a yes, okay. That motion has passed 4-3. So we got a substitute motion. Now we're back to the motion as amended to approve the windows, but we just move them out in the out years. Further discussion? I see no further discussion. All in favor of that?
Well, the substitute motion changes it, so it's...
We're at substitute motion back. That's
right. So it should be done.
Yeah, so we're done.
Yes, we're done.
So we're done.
Well, then go next with this.
Okay. The next amendment that I have deals with 3 doors at the pavilion. Each of these doors will be costing $16,000. I move capital improvement plan project number 029069, exterior building doors replacement at the pavilion by deleting $50,000 in year 2011, CIP page 161, savings to the city $50,000.
Is there a second? That dies for lack of a second. Next motion.
The next amendment I have deals with pavilion office space. I move that capital improvement plan project number 022069, fourth floor office space at the pavilion by moving $78,941 in year 2007 to year 2010, CIP page 160.
Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Here, go ahead.
The primary reason why I wanted to move it from 2007 to 2010 is because the last time a question was asked of the pavilion administration about these fourth floor office spaces, it didn't seem like they knew what they wanted to use the office for. So by extending it out to 2010, that'll give them some time to consider what to use the office space for.
Further comments, Bob?
Well, I guess the second, does he want to?
Thank you. I don't know if they need the office space or not. What I object to, again, is using entertainment tax money for projects like this when we can't even, when we're forced to use sales tax to supplement their operating budget. I want to keep the entertainment tax used for the operation and bond payments.
Bob?
I'd like to call Mr. Hoffman up to see if they have a plan for those offices.
Steve Hoffman, Director of the Washington Pavilion, and we're actually having discussions, heavy discussions in our offices of who would be going into these areas. We have at least 2 of our employees that work in closets, and one of them is to my left, your right, that were designed as closets. We have just added a new area that will be hopefully hiring and announcing the position for a learning center. And that person will be going as a director, going in and sharing an office space with another director until we have an office space, and that team will have no place to go. Trying to move one of our directors out of an office space or out of a closet, which is a true closet, and moving them into a facility or a space that is more usable. Those are probably the 3 primary areas that we've been identifying. But with the opportunity would allow us to do a full assessment with the other areas that are shifted around, because with our new Visual Arts Center director and the new position that through our Bush Foundation grant for the Learning Center director and their team, we will be moving staff throughout the building to become making more sense and being more efficient.
Okay, further questions of Steve? Not further comments? We've got a motion before us to take and move the 78941 from 2007 to 2010. Further comments? If not, all in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Benega?
No.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Jameson?
No.
Knudsen?
No.
Litz?
No.
That motion failed. Further motions?
Yes. The next amendment I have deals with the new ICE center. I move that Capital Improvement Plan Project number 185064, ICE and Recreation Center replacement by deleting $600,000 in year 2011 CIP, page 131, savings to the city, $600,000.
Is there a second? That motion dies for lack of a second. Further motions?
The next amendment I have deals with downtown store facades. I move Capital Improvement Plan Project number 112025, Downtown Historic Revitalization, by deleting $150,000 in each of the years 2007 through 2011, totaling $750,000. CIP page 65, savings to the city, $750,000.
Is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a program that, in effect, gives free money to businessmen downtown if they keep their old facade. I don't think it's appropriate for the taxpayers to give this money to those downtown businessmen. They should maintain their own facade and pay for it.
Oh, I really disagree. I really like the facade program, and I have to tell you that just Friday I had the opportunity to tour the building. I think it's 512 North Main, if I have the address right, and it's that Group 2 Architects building, and they are one of the recipients of the facade, and they took that old, very dumpy-looking building from the outside when it was that brick building that was all painted white and everything, and they have totally restored that building, and it's just fabulous. It's a 1919 Standard Oil building, and after they started working on it, they even discovered a basement that was half again as large as as the main floor, and they found original signs from the gas station, and anyway, it's really a beautiful building now with all this glass, and it's kind of kitty corner from the Coliseum, and from the Old Courthouse Museum, so they can see the lights at night. And wow, I mean, you just tour that building and you realize that we should be doubling or tripling our money that we put into the facade program.
Further comments?
Mike, can you tell us, are there other incentives for landowners, building owners to maintain the historical presence of a building like that?
Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This program has been in place for a number of years as a way of providing an incentive for people to fix up historic buildings downtown. We do have the tax abatement program that's available to downtown properties, but this is one that was specifically designed so that we could go in and buy the facade, and that way we would maintain it for historic purposes, but also provide an incentive to redevelop these properties. And this year has been phenomenal because at the beginning of the year, the Board of Preservation received 9 applications to utilize this program. With the funding that we had available, we were only able to approve 5 of those. And we have about another 6 that we've been talking to of developers. But just to give you an idea, those 9 applications, the amount of facade easement money that was being requested was about $800,000. The total project investment of those was $15 million. So the leverage that we're creating and the multiplier is pretty tremendous.
And the other side of that argument is that these are significant improvements to these buildings downtown, and what we're offering as an incentive on a facade front is so nominal that these investments would have been made anyways. But I guess my true question is there other incentives? Is there federal incentives? Is there historical money or something that also is getting compiled into these things? Or
no, there's Deadwood grant money, but that's typically been $10,000. So this is really the only program that really is focused directly on historic preservation.
Yeah, Mike, I think it's understandable why this is such a successful program. I mean, this is basically free money. But my question is, this is only limited to a very small part of the city. Only a very, very small number of people can take advantage of this. Why is it only the downtown? We have other historic buildings in Sioux Falls. They cannot take advantage of this.
Yeah, I'm not aware that anybody has come to us outside of the downtown area and even asked about it. So if you've got a property that we should be looking at, I'd sure be interested to know about it.
Well, I'll be looking at there's a lot of properties around town that are very historic, and people are actually fixing them up themselves, which is the best way to do it.
And I would come back to the point about the investment that we're making. This is really, this increases the tax base for the city of Sioux Falls. And I think really in many cases, they would not be doing these projects without that assistance, because downtown is very difficult to develop the way it is when you're trying to deal with parking and infrastructure. And so this is just a way that we've found that really helps. And the success that we're seeing this year is, I think, just reflects on how well that program is working.
Further comments? This is really one of the programs that really has helped revitalize the downtown of all the programs that we've done. But is there further discussion? We've got a motion been made and seconded to delete the historical revitalization money. All in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Benega?
No.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Jameson?
No.
Knudsen?
No.
Litz?
No.
All members present have voted. That motion has failed. Further motions?
Yeah, the next amendment I have deals with sump pump collection systems. I move capital improvement plan project number 242072, sump pump collection systems, by deleting $300,000 in each of the years 2007 through 2011, totaling $1,500,000. CIP page 166. Savings to the city, $1,500,000.
Is there a second?
Second for discussion purposes.
Motion been seconded.
This sump pump collection system is a relatively new program here in Sioux Falls, and the primary justification for this is because we have some residents having their sump pump water go out into the street, and there's ice and there's all kinds of stuff that kind of builds up out there. Well, I remember when we dealt with this ordinance providing for the sump pump collection system, I asked, how many houses are doing this in Sioux Falls? And the best number I got, it was from Lyle Johnson at the time. He said, well, there's around 100 houses that are doing this. Well, that hardly justifies a program now trying to get spending a $1,500,000. So what we ought to do is to make sure we correct that problem with those houses that are doing it. But without houses that are not doing this, leave them alone.
Further?
The only comment that I would make is, my memory serves me correct, in the 4 years that I've been on the city council, without question, most number of complaints that I've had, directly, indirectly, emails, voicemails, is about sump pump issues, about water drainage, water running from the street down the neighborhood curb, ruining streets, ruining basements. Without question, the $300,000 that we are proposing on an annual basis is an investment for the quality of the construction and the streets that we have in this community, so I will not support this.
I would like to add.
Excuse me, Kevin.
A comment and a question. I agree that this is probably one of the worst things that when you pick up the phone, you can hear about. And it's not just running in the streets, it's running in the backyards. You have neighborhood disputes. It's ridiculous. My question is, and I hope, Kevin, you can explain this, how many neighborhoods are we going to have to retrofit, and will we see an end to this in a certain number of years? I think we go around and do it to some of these neighborhoods, but aren't the newer construction, aren't we going to resolve that problem before it happens?
Newer construction, if during excavation of the foundation they hit groundwater, they are required to either move the lowest elevation up 2 feet above the groundwater or install a sump pump collection system during initial construction. Well, that's from a couple of years ago into the future. But for the first 140 years or 145 years of the city of Sioux Falls, that wasn't required, which is why we have this retrofit system or this retrofit program in the storm sewer budget. And these are not sales tax funds. These are storm sewer funds that are collected from residents along with their property taxes, and one of the uses of those storm sewer funds is to deal with repair and maintenance of our storm drainage system. We feel this is a very good program for the city of Sioux Falls. In fact, we've requested, you'll see in the 07 to 11 program, we've requested doubling our efforts financially for the storm sewer retrofits, or the sump pump collection systems, excuse me. And as Shannon is pointing out on the screen, anywhere with the letter or the number 4 on it is an identified location for the sump pump collection systems to be retrofitted in. And I would like to say that, yes, we will see the end of it someday, but we have a long way to go. And we don't mandate that people hook up to this. What we do require is neighborhoods to come together and everybody along the side of the street that's having a problem to buy into this, because they have to pay their service connection to the system itself, which can be a couple $100 or a few thousand depending on where you're at. So I think we're doing much better for new construction, but we do have a ways to go, and we get the phone calls just like you do. That's why we've asked to put more money into this program, not less.
Wow.
So then this money is for retro and existing, it's not for reimbursement of materials on new development?
This is what we use to install the systems.
The systems in the new, or is this retro and existing?
This is to retro existing neighborhoods to install the systems.
But this is not, like, if I develop new land, this is not to repay the materials that I put in.
That is not out of this this program. But we do pay for oversizing and materials for those as well.
Further comments? Got a motion to delete the sump pump collection system. Motion been made and it's been seconded. All in favor of that deletion will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Staggers?
Yes.
Costello?
No.
Benega?
No.
Kavanaugh?
No.
Jameson?
No.
Knudsen?
No.
Litz?
No.
That motion fails. Further motions?
Yes, I have the next amendment deals with a backdrop at Faywick Park. I move capital improvement plan project number 082064, Faywick Park improvements backdrop structure, by deleting $100,000 in year 2009 CIP page 110. Savings to the city, $100,000.
Is there a second? That dies for lack of a second. Further motions?
The next amendment I have deals with play equipment at a baseball park. Capital Improvement Plan Project number 038064, Harmondon Park, by deleting $92,000 in year 2010 CIP page 85. Savings to the city, $92,000.
Second? That dies for lack of a second. Further motions?
Okay. This next amendment is a policy statement encouraging cheaper hookup with Lewis and Clark. I move capital improvement plan project number 140075, Lewis and Clark water supply connection, by deleting, quote, and install pipe to the water purification plant, end quote, in the project description, deleting, quote, with the water purification plant, end quote, in the project justification, and changing the project cost to, quote, less than, end quote, $4,850,000, CIP page 190. City savings unknown at this time. This is basically, once again, a policy statement encouraging a cheaper hookup with Lewis and Clark.
Is there a second? That dies for lack of a second. Further motions?
The next amendment I have deals with acquiring water rights rather than purchasing land for water. I move capital improvement plan project number 177075, land acquisition for future water territory, by changing the project title and description to, quote, water rights acquisition, end quote. CIP page 180, city savings unknown at this time.
Is there a second? That dies for lack of a second. Further motions?
The next amendment I have is to ensure no city funds are used on relocating railroad track. I move capital improvement plan project number 452099, rail relocation plan, by adding to the project justification that, quote, absolutely no city funds will be used on this project, end quote. CIP page 11.
Is there a second? That motion dies for a lack of a second. Further motions?
Okay. This next amendment is actually to increase city spending. This amendment is to ensure the city is responsible for maintaining its own sidewalks. I move capital improvement plan project, replace city sidewalks adjacent to privately owned land with funding of $100,000 in each of the years 2007 through 2010 for a total project cost of $400,000. Cost to the city, $400,000.
Is there a second? That dies for a lack of a second. Further motions?
The next amendment I have is actually to the OSEP. It's not to the CIP, it's to the OSEP. And the amendment is to purchase snow gates to keep snow out of driveways in Sioux Falls. I move other capital expenditures plan, 2 snow gates for $3,000 each in the year 2007. Cost to the city, $6,000.
Is there a second? That will die for a lack of a second. Further amendments, motions?
This is the last amendment. This amendment deals with an outdoor restroom. I move capital improvement plan project number 121064, Pioneer Park, by deleting $133,000 in year 2011, CIP page 132. Savings to the city, $133,000.
Is there a second?
That's the last amendment I have.
Okay, is there any other amendments to the CIP that anybody has? We've got a motion that's been made and second to approve the CIP as amended. Is there further discussion? Not, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you can see that with these amendments I've introduced, you might not agree with every amendment that I introduce, but I think
Mr.
you
Chair?
can see there is.
Are we have new discussion here, or is just the same old motions?
I'm sorry, go ahead. What were you?
No, I'm talking about the CIP.
These motions never got second. Those that did were defeated.
I'm not talking about the amendments. I'm talking about
yes,
the
you are.
CIP. That's what I'm talking about. The amendments, I think you can see that there is wasteful government spending here. And I wish more of these amendments had passed, but in the future we'll just continue to try to reduce this wasteful government spending.
Okay, we've got a motion been made and seconded and to approve the CIP for 2007, 2011 as amended. Further discussion? Not all in favor will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Pass. You can go around, then I can. I'm going to vote after.
Okay, go ahead. You can pass. You can pass.
Yes.
Who, you pass?
Yes, I pass.
Okay, go ahead.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Staggers?
Okay, the reason I want to explain why I'm passing is because this is a difficult vote for me because I am very concerned about the spending, and I'm going to go ahead and reluctantly vote yes.
Okay, thank you. All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. The CIP has been approved. Is there further business? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson, is a second. Knutson. All in favor will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz? Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
We stand adjourned.
Well, yeah, a little bit.